Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are taking a deep dive into a complete masterclass on the down payment cycle in both SAP EC6 and S/4HANA. The goal here is simple, to completely transform you from an SAP FICO novice into an interview-ready consultant. So whether you are prepping for a major technical interview or you're about to jump into a brand new implementation project, consider this explainer your ultimate preparation guide. Let's get right into it. So let's start right off with a fundamental accounting dilemma. Why on earth wouldn't we just post a down payment directly to a normal customer account? I mean, it sounds simple enough, right? Well, an advance amount actually has a completely different accounting nature than a standard invoice. Think about it. A customer advance is actually a liability because your company now has an obligation to deliver goods. On the flip side, a vendor advance is considered an asset because your company has a future benefit coming its way. Because of this, using separate accounts to track these accurately isn't just a good idea, it's absolutely essential.
Here is our roadmap for getting you interview ready. We're going to build this knowledge logically, kind of like an architectural blueprint. We'll start with core configuration, move into front-end execution, hit some rapid-fire comparisons, tackle troubleshooting, and finally wrap up with S/4HANA architecture.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, Core Configuration and Concepts. This is where we lay the back-end foundation.
Now what's really fascinating here is the Special General Ledger or GL indicator. You can kind of think of this as a VIP pass within SAP. It literally tells the system to completely bypass normal accounting logic and route these specific advances into alternative reconciliation accounts. For down payments, whether we're talking about a customer or a vendor, this VIP pass is typically designated by the indicator A.
As an SAP consultant, you absolutely have to know the 6 critical back-end steps by heart. First, you define that special GL indicator we just talked about. Second, you assign the alternative reconciliation account. Third, you define your posting keys. Fourth, you configure the account determination. Fifth, you assign the document types. And finally, step 6 is executing a test posting to make sure it all works. Memorizing this exact sequence really gives you the backbone of down payment configuration. Moving right along to Section 2, Front-End Execution for Customer and Vendor Flows. Now that our back-end is perfectly wired up, let's look at what the end users will actually be doing day to day. Let's trace the customer flow first. Notice how Step 1, the F37 down payment request, is just a noted item. This is absolutely crucial to remember. A noted item does not update the general ledger, and it doesn't affect the balance sheet. It is purely there for payment tracking. The real financial action happens at Step 2, with the F29 incoming payment. After that, your user will generate the invoice using VF01, and finally, clear the advance against that invoice using F39. Now watch how this translates over to the vendor side. It mirrors the customer logic perfectly, just using different transaction codes. We start with an F47 request. Next, we actually disperse the outgoing funds via F48 using our special GL. Then we log the incoming invoice via MyRow. And finally, we clear the entire chain with F54. It makes total sense when you see them laid out side by side like this, doesn't it?
Okay, let's jump into Section 3, Key Transaction Differences.
This is where technical interviewers really try to trip you up. First, you've got to memorize this back-end distinction, OBYR versus OBAK. So, OBYR is all about defining alternative reconciliation accounts. It controls account substitution and customer or vendor reconciliation logic. OBAK, on the other hand, specifically defines the special GL account and controls the actual financial posting account itself. It's a subtle but massive difference when you're configuring the system.
And when you get asked about front-end customer payments, you need to cleanly explain the difference between these two T-codes. F29 is strictly for that initial advance posting, using that special GL VIP pass we discussed. F28, that's for your standard normal clearing against an actual invoice. You definitely do not want to mix these up during an implementation. Also, make sure you understand payment clearing types. If a user makes a residual payment, it completely clears the original invoice and it creates a brand new open item for whatever balance is left over. But if they make a partial payment, that original invoice remains completely open on the books. This directly impacts exactly how your open item reports are going to look at month's end.
All right, on to Section 4, Troubleshooting Real Scenarios.
Because, let's face it, anyone can follow a setup guide. But a senior consultant proves their real worth when things break in production. Imagine an end user frantically messages you during an F29 posting saying they're getting a system error, account determination not possible. Don't panic.
All this means is that the special GL account is completely missing from your configuration. You just need to jump into the backend and maintain that account.
Here's another classic one. An advance gets posted, but it's just completely invisible in the F39 clearing screen. The user can't find it anywhere. When that happens, immediately check the 3 usual suspects. Was it posted in a different company code? Is the alternative reconciliation account incorrect? Or did someone use the wrong special GL indicator and accidentally omit that crucial A?
Or what if a payment entirely bypasses your special VIP lane and hits the normal vendor account by mistake? Yeah, that usually means the special GL indicator was left out entirely during posting. To stop it from happening again, you'll need to go back and verify those OBR and OVAK mappings in the configuration to guarantee the system forces the correct routing. Finally, we arrive at Section 5, S/4HANA Updates in Key Tables. Let's modernize our blueprint.
The big trick question interviewers love to ask is, how does the down payment business process change in S/4HANA? Well, here's the secret. The front-end business process actually stays exactly the same. The real magic happens with the back-end enhancements. We see the introduction of the Universal Journal, known as ACDOCA, which enables incredible real-time reporting, and it's all accessed through that sleek new Fury Apps interface.
I highly recommend taking a mental snapshot of these database mappings. Interviewers absolutely love table questions. Notice how BKPF and BSEG are still there handling your traditional document headers and segments. But AC Duoka, that massive single table, handles all the Universal Journal heavy lifting now. For legacy tracking, you've still got BSID and BSAD for customer open and cleared items, and BSIK and BSAK for the vendor side. Knowing these tables proves you really understand SAP beneath the surface.
So, we've covered a ton of ground, and this is your final consultant interview checklist. If you can confidently explain these T-codes, from F19 and F48 all the way to OBR and OBAK, along with the account determinations and S/4HANA structural changes we just walked through, then you have successfully mastered the architectural blueprint of the SAP FICO down payment cycle. You're no longer just guessing, you are configuring with absolute purpose.
Now that you fully understand how special GL indicators route down payments through the legacy system to keep balance sheets perfectly aligned, the ultimate question for your next big project is, are you ready to configure the Universal Journal in S/4HANA? I hope this explainer gave you the confidence to say absolutely yes. Keep reviewing these concepts, trust the process, and good luck out there.